Hello and welcome to another episode of the Impactful Introvert podcast. I'm your host Seema Pateel, a business coach for introverted women with online services, and I help them implement a marketing strategy that is very tailored to their personality and their lifestyle. My goal is to help my clients have a business that is sustainable, that they love, that they want to get back to, that they are not trying to escape from like they have ever done in their 9 to 5. So having said that, welcome to another episode in the series that I have created specifically for you to help you implement a marketing strategy that is designed for your personality and your lifestyle. This, I think, is going to be the last in the series. I haven't mapped out past this, and today I am talking all about sales calls. So, we have done everything marketing foundations. I have talked to you about how marketing is not the same as sales. I have talked to you about creating your offers, and I've talked to you about your content. The things that I haven't talked about is niching and target audience, and I have touched upon them, but I haven't created specific episodes for them, and that's because they are important. But if you have been struggling to sign clients, then I don't want you to spend time trying to figure out your niche or your target audience yet. I know you already create enough reasons in your mind to put off doing the tasks of creating content, reaching out to people and talking to them and telling that you have something to sell so that they can buy from you. So I may do an episode on that, but currently I'm just like taking you through the series of um, the strategy, the process that is needed to get to a place where you are being consistent with your marketing and you're able to make sales. So, in that aspect, today we are talking about sales calls. This week, if you're listening to it, the week that it got released, I am hosting the Sales Call Success Challenge, April 8th to 10th. This challenge is designed to help you convert more of your sales calls into yeses. If you are struggling to understand why only, I'm using air quotes, broke people get on sales calls with you, or why only people who just wanted some free information get on sales call with you, etc., then this definitely is the event for you. I'm going to talk about what you're doing before the call, what you can do during the call, and what you can do after the call to get a better chance of getting a yes from the potential client. And I'm going to give you a brief of what we are going to do in today's episode. So, let's start with why sales calls when there are so many. Okay, not very many, but there's still quite a few people. I see the ads on Instagram who are trying to sell you on a method to make sales without sales calls. Now, if you have been in business for long, which I very clearly mean, if you have worked with clients that you have signed through your marketing and sales process, which means you have a pretty good hold on sales calls, then that approach is a better way to use the time that you have. We all have limited time. We just have 24 hours a day, and I, by all means, do not want you to keep working. That is not what you chose to do when you started your business. There was a phase when you had to learn and implement, and that is when it took you the longest. But now the learning phase is much shorter, so you should be getting more time to spend with your friends, family on things other than work. Having said that, if you haven't mastered sales calls in any way, and by mastered, I mean at least you're able to convert at least about 60 to 80% of the calls, then I want you to just get better at it rather than trying to look for something else, because When you are converting at 80% or higher, you have a very strong understanding of the person who will say yes to you, which means you'll be able to create content, which means the words that you will use be more tailored to that person. And until you have that level of understanding, it's easier for you to get a yes when you're talking to them, and can when you have the opportunity, when they give you the opportunity by being with you to make adjustments to the words you're using, to the phrases you're saying, etc. So, yes, there will come a time when you won't need sales calls, when evergreen funnels are going to do the sales process for you. But until then, let's get better at selling. First thing, what should you do? What should you not do on a sales call? This is something that I don't talk about as much because I don't see it frequently being talked about. Like, nobody's teaching these methods as much anymore. People probably have gotten better about it. So, the very first thing is, don't highlight their pain points and then tell them how badly they need your services. That is just not good practice. It leaves a really bad taste in their mouth, which means a yes is very hard to come by. Now, there are some people who this strategy works on very, very well. It is for them, but unless you know how to identify those people, I don't. So I don't try that uh, tactic at all. So it is safer to not do that. It's just kindness. Another thing that I used to see is to like having people make the decision and say yes or no right on the call, and then pay you on the call, like take the deposit right away. It is fine depending on how urgent the person needs the work done. If they say, I need you to start today or tomorrow, then yes, that is where you need to get that deposit right there on the call, because if they really needed things, then they need to pay you and they need to get you everything that you need to get started. Otherwise, I don't see any other situation where it is a good idea to pressure the prospect to make the decision on the call and pay you right away. If they are interested, if they have done their homework and they're saying, I'm ready to pay you right now, then I'm not saying don't take the payment, don't take the yes. I'm not saying that you should give them all the time necessary to make the decision, but please do not pressure them into making the decision, and do not pressure them into paying. You send them an invoice and they need to pay it within 7 days. Otherwise, the invoice is void. You can give them all of that information. That is not putting pressure. That is being respectful and trusting that the person sitting in front of you is an adult and knows how to make business decisions. And another thing is to have the fear that they may say no, and talk about false urgency, like prices may increase if you decide to work with me uh, after 6 months, because that is when they realize that they can pay you, their budget can hold it, or that is when they were already planning to hire you. They just want to make sure you're the person and they can actually start saving for it or whatever. So understand the situation, and if you're really trying to raise prices, if it is a true plan, then by all means share that, but don't share false or fake urgency, because again, if you don't end up doing it and they come back 6 months from now and it feels to them that you were just trying to force them, it will not leave for an honest and trusting client and service provider relationship. So those are the three things I would recommend to completely avoid. So what should you do during a discovery call or a sales call or a fitting call or whatever name that people use for it? My understanding of a sales call is it's the call where the person makes the decision if you are the right service provider for them or not, and the service, the offer, whatever they understood, that their understanding is right or not. So whether it's a yes or a no, that decision is being made on that call. That is all that it is. So when you understand that, then it becomes easier to help the person make that decision. As introverts, I know you're excellent at actively listening to the person and asking the right kind of questions that will uncover the deeper reasons that may be making it hard for them to make the decision. So that is completely on you, but it becomes really easy to get the answers from the person when you stop looking at trying to say the right things to get the yes. So I want you to quit thinking about yourself, whether okay, it is not easy to quit thinking about yourself when you haven't rehearsed enough about how you're going to present your offer. So do that outside of the call. Rehearse enough how you're going to present the offer and how you're going to make sure during the call if the offer is the right fit or not. So the questions that you're going to ask them are going to help you understand if your offer is the right one or not. I know multiple people who have said that they have invested in coaches and courses and like from the time they started their business, and they haven't seen the return on that investment. And I can tell you in most cases that the person who invested was not wrong. The person who offered the services or the courses was not wrong. It's just that they both did not do a good fitting exercise, and that is where the mismatch happened. And instead of blaming the person for selling or blaming the person for purchasing, if the people had done just a good enough job of checking if, like, I know my offer, and when you're talking to me, I can immediately tell, can I really help you through my expertise and my experiences or not? And if I am not going to be honest with myself and just think about, okay, I want to buy that new laptop, and that is why I need at least two new clients, and that is why I need this person to say yes. If that is where my mind is going to be, then I'm not going to do as good a job at making sure we are the right fit or not. And yeah, as a client, as someone who's buying something, it is always your job as well to make sure that whatever is being said, am I just taking it at face value, or am I just paying attention to the words that I want to hear? That is the better way of putting it. Or am I really paying attention to everything that is happening? Am I asking questions that will help me decide if I'm really the right fit? I have made purchases, four-figure purchases, like after just a day or two of meeting the person, but I did a very thorough assessment. If this person is really the right fit, I stalk them for those 2 or 3 days. I go through all of their content, how they speak. Uh, Can I connect with the person's style of speaking? I speak very simply, so I don't understand a lot of slangs, etc., in your speech. So depending on what I'm purchasing, I'm going to look at your language. I cannot connect if your voice is too light. I cannot connect with that voice. That works only when I'm trying to meditate. That voice is perfect. It takes me into the zone immediately. But if it's a course and I want to learn something and you have that kind of voice, I'm sorry, that doesn't work. My brain just doesn't cannot comprehend, like it cannot retain the information because I'm going into that meditative zone. So understand yourself and make better choices in purchasing. That is, and I trust my clients do that. My potential clients do that. But I will also do my best to make sure that I can really help the person, irrespective. Like, if I know with certainty that I can help the person even if they don't pay me, that is when I know that we are a good fit. I look like that is the lens that I look at it with. So, what I want you to think about a sales call is that there are three phases to a sales call. One is the pre-call, one is the call itself, and then the post-call. It's that simple. That is how my sales call success challenge is also divided. 3 days. On day one, we are talking about what you should do before the call. On day two, we are talking about what you should do during the call. And on day three, I talk about what you should do after the call. Now, you can take whatever you want, make it fit into your current business, current processes, and enhance your current processes so that it actually works. I am, again, not going to give you a complete scratch your thing and take this and apply it as is, because I don't know your personality, and recommending something blindly, I don't feel comfortable doing that. So I'm giving you strategy ideas that you have to implement in your current process and plan. Let's talk about pre-call phase. So the duration between the time the person has first come across you and the moment that they get on the call with you, all of it is pre-call. Your content does a lot of heavy lifting in this phase. So when you talk about your content, the you focused content that I talked about in my previous episode, if you haven't listened, please give it a listen. That is going to help your ideal client understand if you're a good fit or not, and if they should even get on the call or not. So try to infuse your personality, your style, your experience, your expertise, all of it into your content, along with the how-tos and educational and tips and hacks kind of content. Okay, so that the person who is reading can connect with you, can understand if you're a good match or not. So that when they get on the call, they're like feeling, I know her, I like her, I really do, and I like what she's saying about how she can help me. So, yeah, I want to work with her. And all of this happens subconsciously. They are not sitting there saying these words to you. So, help them through your content in the pre-call phase. And then there is the call itself. When you get on the call, help them make the decision of saying a yes or a no. So ask them questions that'll help them say yes or a no. Ask them questions that will help you understand if they are the right fit for you or not. And also talk about your offer in terms of the problems that they have described, not in terms of how you have like memorized the script. That is why I rehearse, and that is why understanding who your offer best fits rather than a huge category. Like, I work with coaches is not as good a fit as I work with coaches who have experienced either working with others or have been coaching for free for some time. So they have their offer dialed in, they have their process, they have their modalities dialed in. But the only thing that is missing is for them to understand how to talk about their offer and how to market themselves the visibility, the attraction, the nurture, all of these words are very alien to them, and I help them make sense of all of it. That's the kind of coach that I work with. Like, I don't work with just coaches, but if I was saying I work with just coaches, that would make it very hard for me to decide if you are the right fit for me or not, because your title says coach, and it would make it very hard for you as well. So don't niche down based on specific things other than your client's personality when you haven't yet figured out your messaging, your marketing, etc. And the last thing is the post call phase. In this, you just because the call ended, it doesn't mean you're done. Whether they say yes or no, you still have the capacity to influence the decision if the person has said, if the person has not committed. If it's a solid no, then fine, thank them, send them an email saying thank you, and yeah, great, it was nice talking to you, that's it. But if it was non-committal, if it was a yes, anything other than a solid no, you still have the capacity to influence their decision by the way you handle the communication post the call. So if they've said a yes, then send a thank you email immediately or within the next 24 to 48 hours. That is still great. And share with them that you're excited, and the very next step that they need to expect, that could be that you'll send them a contract and an invoice, you'll send them a proposal, whatever is the process that you have, send it to them, because it feels like you're holding their hand, and that is very important. The higher ticket your offer is, more hand holding they need at the very beginning, not because they don't know what it is, they don't know what they're getting into, but that treatment, initial treatment, helps avoid them having buyer's remorse. So send that, and you could send them the transcription. Nowadays we have awesome AI tools like Fathom. Have it take notes and send the call notes. It provides great call notes and actionables and everything. So send it to them, and you're going to provide a lot of value without doing much by just the free stuff that Fathom gives you. That makes them feel like you cared, you were paying attention, because you went through the process of sending that email. That makes you come across as very caring. And that is all. After that, send your proposal and follow through whatever your process is. Brilliant. Congratulations. You just signed a client, and celebrate it. Okay? Don't forget to celebrate it. But if they have not yet said yes, many people do that, they don't know yet because you aren't an expert at selling, so you haven't said things in a way that helps them make the decision. So don't just write these people off. When you send them the email, send them the transcript. That is great, awesome. Thank them for the time, and ask them if your conversation was helpful at all. At the very least, invite them on your newsletter. Ask them if they would like to hear from you, whatever you frequently send in your newsletter, if they would like those tips and information. And if they say yes, then please send them a form through your email service provider, and add them to an email sequence where you manage their expectations, handle the objections that they have talked about, which you were too scared to handle. You were too in your head to handle on the call because you don't have that much experience. Handle those objections, and provide support. tips, hacks, and maybe case studies where you talk about someone who is very close to this kind of a client. Talk about all of that. Don't send them the general weekly emails. Just add them into a sequence where you're talking about all of these things. Not everyone deserves to be on your regular email list, and especially the potential clients. If they are not already a part of your regular email list, then please don't add them yet. Let them go through this nurture sequence, and then you can put them after they've gone through the entire nurture sequence. You can put them into the regular emails, but until then, if you bombard them with too many emails, that is not going to go down well with most people. And I don't know how many people open all of your emails, but if these are specifically crafted for them rather than generic emails, it is going to help them better. So that is all for the post call phase. And there you have it. That is how you get better yeses on sales calls. And I've talked about what to do on a sales call. I haven't given you a script. I do have a simple process. Like if they don't know that it's a sales call, then I tell them that I will be selling. And I don't just say, hey, listen, this is a sales call. I ask them why they decided to get on a call with me today. They tell me that one simple reason. It's never really one single reason. They go on for about a minute or two. And once they have done, if I really can help them, if I can really help based on just the description of their reason for the call, I'll tell them that I can see this is what is happening with you. I can help you. I'll give you one or two recommendations in this call, but looks like I could help you better. So would it be okay if I shared how we can work together after I've given you whatever my recommendations are for you? Quite often people are nice, so they say yes. And then we have a coaching session for 20-30 minutes where I know exactly what kind of problem they are coming with. Like usually I can tell within the first 5 or 10 minutes. So I give them 2 or 3 recommendations. Sometimes I give more, and people are really amazed that it was so simple and easy because they are so close to it they cannot see. But then after that, I ask them again, is it okay if I shared how we could work together to solve all the problems that they have listed to me over the past 20 minutes? And then I talk to them how we can work together. That is the agenda that I have on my call. The words that I'm going to say, how I'm going to position my offer, etc. I have to do the work behind the scenes. I cannot be in my mind, in my head, thinking about what words should I say, how should I express it so that she says yes. When I do that, it's definitely going to mess with my flow and how I present, and I'm very anxious. So I don't come across as confident then, which I don't want. I know I'm a confident person. I don't want the person who is trying to pay me money to not feel like I have confidence in myself. That is all for today. I hope this has been helpful, and if you want a more in-depth help, support, answer to your questions related to sales calls, etc., please join me tomorrow in Sales Call Success. Over the 3 days, we're going through in depth about everything that you do before, during, and after the call. So I hope to see you there, and otherwise, I'll see you next week. Bye.